Wasabi gangsters, it's me, Chance Dillon, here to do an update about books, reading, writing, all the above. Science, math, history, gym class, PE, that's physical education, lunch, naming classes, naming school classes. So let's talk about my reading a bit before we dive into the writing stuff. How about that? I am in the midst of Crimson Fire. I don't have a bookmark in this puppy. I am reading this on my Kindle, and I'm enjoying it. I really have to get a little bit more information as I continue to read. I'm about 30% in. We're starting to figure out and unravel the conflict that's happening in Abel's world, and honestly, a pretty fantastic world so far. And I'm loving the characters. The voices of the characters are distinct from the ones that I've met so far. And I hear that the character we meet early on comes back soon, so I actually can't wait to see this character again. But yeah, I am enjoying the structure of the story. It's not your traditional narrative, and I like that. I love when authors kind of step out of the box of the realm of normality, and we're getting that with Abel Montero. Really enjoying it so far. I am about, I want to say 70% into Will of the Many. I got that new Hyperion bookmark in there. Very excited about it. I'm loving James Islington's world. I think it's Islington. I've probably been saying that wrong the whole time because everyone else is saying Islington, but I could have sworn I heard himself say Islington at some point in an interview. But I'll just call him James. Good old James. He has crafted a fantastic world. We're seeing more of it through the eyes of Iz, and we're seeing sort of the progression of the character. We're seeing him be challenged. Everything in this world so far has been very intriguing. And again, I just kind of want to know more about the greater picture in this, and we're getting hints. And they're being dropped very strategically, and I can see that, and I just am like really excited to get to the end here. But yeah, we're about 70% through that, and then after I'm done with that, and I'm continuing reading Crimson Fire, I will be starting Reaper's Gale. Thank God, I love these mass market paperbacks. I just something about them just like really, really is enjoyable for me. But yeah, I will be getting into some Reaper's Gale. Little book haul. This is gonna be a quick video today. Honestly, kind of beat, but then I'll run through some of the good news in terms of the writing stuff. Hyperion, this is a beautiful, beautiful broken binding edition. I mean, just absolutely stunning. This is one I have to get to, and it's just one of those like essentials that I haven't read yet. I haven't read Foundation, the Asimov series. This is another one that I really have to read. I want to read Gorman Gas. There's like so many classics that I really, really have to read. Hyperion is on that list. Actually, I'm going to put it back up here. I love that cover. I do love the House of Chains, Michael Jackson cover. Thanks you, Matt, from Hobby Vomit from that. What happened this week in terms of the channel? So that's like the reading book stuff. I did an interview. I'm going to talk about my writing a little bit right now. So if you guys are just here for the reading stuff, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm very grateful. I'm going to talk about the book stuff in regards to Mercy, the series that I am writing. I went on Hobby Vomit's channel. I will have them in the description below. Chatted with them. It was a great time. Ian and Matt over there. I was on Thomas Howell's channel playing some D&D. This literally just before this. So you guys probably will see that. And the goal is for us to try and do it next week as well. Thursday, we had some issues with the live stream, I guess, because there was some massive internet thing happening. But yeah, that was really, really fun. Played with Zachary Shea and Will, who is also an author working on his own stuff. He's not a booktuber yet. I think he might be working his way up to getting there soon. We'll see. But yeah, that was a great, great time. And then I'm having a conversation with Philip Chase next week. I don't know if I'm just announcing it here because I'm just talking about my thoughts. Really excited for that. And then a talk on Monday with John, the J.A.J. Minton crew. I believe Jacob, Amy will be there. I'm not 100% sure. Myself and the rest of the Red Company crew and potentially Preacher over at Preacher Reads will be on that conversation for Discovery. And then Tuesday, I believe. Oh, no, that's the following week. I'll get into that next week. But yeah, that's just some stuff there. As far as like conversations, interviews, my website has all of them. So usually most of the times Mercy has been mentioned either in a review or like a dedicated review or a video where it's at least a relative focal point, and then interviews, those will all be up on my website. And then yeah, that is the conversations I believe that I have had. I have a Griftkin conversation next week I'm really looking forward to as well. And then hopefully some more here in the future. That's the conversations. I'm saying a lot, so I'm going to move on. So Mercy, Tears of the Fallen. This we submitted for a review. It's called a Kirkus review. Apparently, it's a pretty big, traditionally published industry standard. For indie, they do make you pay for a review. You are not required to publish it, meaning if they write a non-favorable review, you can, as the author, choose to not publish it. Therefore, because I'm paying for it, doesn't necessarily mean that I am guaranteed a positive review. Now, I'm going to share some thoughts because I did that and I didn't know what to expect. I was honestly kind of nervous, and the review I got was pretty positive. It was called a gritty, fast-moving fantasy from a promising new voice was the quote they gave me. And then apparently they have an Accolade called Get It. And then I was looking it up, I was researching it. There was only 3 other indie fantasy books I can find that had it. Of the 3, one was a New York Times bestseller, ended up being, or was. And then all the other traditionally published books I found with that Accolade were New York Times bestsellers. And then books like Fourth Wing didn't have it. But honestly, I don't know if that had a Kirkus star or what. The Kirkus star, I think, is people are pretty familiar with it, whether we know it or not. But I don't know. It was really cool to see that because they're not obligated to give me that Accolade. It's they give you the review and it doesn't have to be positive. It was positive. And apparently, again, from a traditionally published standpoint, that would be a pretty big marker, which is just really cool because I did try and follow a lot of the traditional publishing outlets that are laid out for indie authors, the things that we have access to. And I did listen to Dave Butler on a chat with iWizard, talk about editing. Funny enough, he's my editor. I don't know. It was just really cool to hear sort of what's going on. And then I got some feedback behind the scenes, and I'm just really excited. The warmness of the community of other authors and everything that's sort of coming and the second book and what it's going to mean for the series in terms of just the scope of what we hit in that story, actually, and in terms of me improving as a writer and me having, more people in a team and the people who have signed up for alpha reading this book, I'm just very excited about. I don't know. It's just all kind of surreal for me, genuinely. And I'm so grateful for everybody that's followed along. I got an incredibly nice review from Arabella. I hope I'm saying that right. Could be Arabella, but she's a viewer of the channel. She is all over BookTube. And I don't know. It's just so cool to see people talk, about this story I created. And I just can't wait to have more conversations. The spoiler ones are the ones I'm really looking forward to. I'm looking forward to all of them, but the spoiler ones are that's the exciting stuff because then I can, hear theories, which I do hear from people like Zachary, over at Zachary Shea. And I don't know, it's exciting. It's really exciting to see this stuff start to the fruits to start to, whatever, for the effort to start to bear fruit. I don't know. It's cool. Book 2, we are a few chapters into the first round feedback process. I'm going off of 3 primary readers' notes. Some other people we put on into the July crowd. I believe we'll have around 25 people alpha reading the book in July, which I'm very excited about. To get sort of that amount of feedback is going to be eye-opening. It's going to be nice for me to see, what things work, what things don't. I'm thinking going forward that might be the alpha reading team, assuming everybody on that team wants to kind of stay along for the further books down the series. I may offer a Patreon tier at some point where we can tack on more alpha readers, but I'm going to try and keep a pretty good core together. I do ask on that form, which I sent out for people to gauge interest. I got some feedback in terms of what format do people like giving their feedback, and there are several people who marked video discussions, so I may do a behind the scenes video discussion, just a private one with those people, and if that's the case, then of course that's going to be something that I offer at a Patreon tier at a later date, just simply because I don't know, I don't want too many cooks in the kitchen. That said, if people want to see what that process is like, I want to offer that opportunity, because I want to kind of get rid of the mysticism of writing. And I understand it is a very solitary thing, having experienced it myself. But honestly, since making this channel and conversing with you guys, it has felt a lot less lonely in that way. It's a lot less solitary because I'm able to share parts of the process with you guys. not that it's perfect or anything, but it also helps me articulate it for myself in terms of maybe identifying what is and what isn't working. And so the official word count will be on my Patreon writing update, and then over on my newsletter. I usually send that out on Thursday nights, so you get that early. The actual physical writing update. That otherwise it's just going to be free on my Patreon. That is the primary writing update of book 2, and just like moving through the notes, it's kind of cool to see the difference in what people are looking at. Some mark pacing as being maybe based on expectation, because the first book is very action fantasy in terms of your traditional journey, and then book 2 it definitely brings us into a little bit more of like a military fantasy, and so it's a bit of a spin on that. And then book 3, oh boy, I haven't touched book 3 since we last spoke, but that is still lingering there in the back of my mind, and I cannot wait to write that book in terms of my own discovery of what's going to be going on in that world. And I'm sort of playing with the idea of if somebody picked it up at the third book and read the second arc first and then went back and read the first arc, I'm wondering if there's a way I can play it where you can read the second arc before reading the first arc and then go vice versa and have two totally different experiences. I don't know. Based on how the narrative is structured, there's a possibility that is a thing. I don't know. It might just be a cool experience. Or, I mean, the rereading experience itself, based on the feedback I'm getting so far, is something warranted, which is cool. It's cool to hear. It's really cool to hear. And I can't wait to improve. I can't wait to just like be able to have, I know I have the chops, but it's going to be really cool to deliver something, as near perfect in terms of, what people like. But nobody's ever going to, not everybody is ever going to like what you put out there. So it's also something to remember. Just reminding myself here real quick. That's it, guys. That's all I'm going to chat about this week. Definitely getting, definitely putting a lot of energy into this, and it's exciting. It's consuming me in a good way. Obsession, I think in some cases is a positive thing. And this is just one of those where, I want to see this grow, and I want people to, feel more free in terms of their sharing their passions as well. That's something that I think has been on my mind from the beginning. You have other booktubers out there who are writers as well, who are starting to share their journeys in terms of their writing process and things that they're getting into. And it's really cool to see. I don't know. That's the stuff that I live for. I love seeing people really talk about what they're passionate about, and that authenticity, that kind of, whether you're talking about it on camera or what, it comes off the screen. But yeah, I'm going to stop rambling. I will see you guys next week with some reading updates. I didn't do any Berserk this week. I know. I probably should have mentioned that in the beginning of the video. I will be doing that next week. I'm probably going to designate my Wednesdays as like a good Berserk reading day, so I have a little bit more fresh memory going into the videos as well when I talk. Although I'm really excited to have that Berserk discussion, even though we haven't scheduled it yet. I have a conversation for the Will of the Many in a couple weeks with Philip Chase, John, Jimmy Nuts, John from Talking Story, and Jake from Nerd Level Rising, I think on Jake's channel. Just some more conversations coming up here in the future. Really, again, super grateful for you guys coming here. If you watched this whole thing, can't believe it. I literally rambled for, 15, 20 minutes. I'm going to record the giveaway video right now for Mercy, because we're doing it again, doing it every week. The two winners I had, one was a hometown friend, so I announced a second winner. Because I'll send that hometown friend a book anyways. That's yesterday's video. You guys are seeing this Friday morning. So thank you guys for watching. I will see you next Friday.